morning, everyone. I'm Mr. Vaughn at the Eagles Nest podcast. So we're here to help you sort through the real estate world today. We got a great episode for everyone looking to sell their home quickly and at the best price. So I'm Mr. Vaughn at Eagle Homes, here powered by Caldwell Banker, and I'm here with my partner Brada. It's kind of
That's what it says in our script today.
inside joke, yeah.
But I am just.
Oh, but it does say Brad right there.
I corrected that.
Oh, you did? Oh.
Yeah, I am just Brad Brewer, also with Eagle Homes and Caldwell Banker, of course. This is our 777th edition of the Eagles Nest podcast. We don't even know because we never counted. I don't know why we should count. Go back and count sometime.
Failure.
We keep saying that, but we won't.
Nope.
So today we got a seller's roadmap. Seller's roadmap to where? I don't know.
Yeah, we'll find out.
You'll find out shortly. So anyway, anyway.
Exactly. Let's jump right in. First thing we need to discuss is how to prepare your home for a sale. When it comes to getting your house, we're jumping into that spring market right now. Buyers are picking up. I had a freaking killer weekend of showings. But yeah, so how do you get your home ready? So let's focus. Let's move forward and focus on that.
Sure. I'd say probably first thing that comes to mind would be staging.
Okay.
I think part of staging might be a couple of cleanup items. Meaning like, is there anything that can make your house look, a little bit better in different ways? A lot of times we've covered these in past podcasts. I mean, a fresh coat of paint goes a long way.
Right.
If you've got little minor damage, dings, nicks on walls, baseboards, doors, things like that, I'd say go ahead and fix those. Those are inexpensive. Visually, you'll get a quick return on that. We're always a little bit more cautious when you're getting ready to sell to do like a bathroom remodel right away.
Right.
Or kitchen remodel, those bigger projects, sometimes you can only get maybe 70-80% return on that. So it doesn't necessarily make sense. But overall with those things, then it's staging. You want the place to feel bright, spacious, inviting, well cared for. I just mentioned those little things, obviously. And then, I've always go with my clients. I always talk about my 3 C's, clean, clear, and clutterless. So declutter, remove personal items, start to make everything look fresh, clean. And
yeah, absolutely.
Amazing.
And staging doesn't have to be expensive, right? But it makes a huge impact. And sometimes just a few well-placed pieces of furniture or some light decor can make a room look, more open, more appealing.
Yep.
And don't forget about curb appeal either, right? Like this is a tough time of year being we're in winter, but the first thing buyers see when they arrive to your home is what it looks like from the outside.
Mm-hmm.
So, make sure that I showed a house yesterday. Driveway wasn't plowed, walkway wasn't shoveled. Like I granted the sellers were out of town, but still, should have had someone, do that. So make sure it's, welcoming. They can easily get into it. As spring comes along, freshen up the mulch, clean the entryway, a new mat out front,
Yep.
Really can be like, wow, and really get creative with it. Like, welcome home, right? Like,
I know everybody usually thinks of curb appeal as like, summer, spring, things that bloom, multiple. Well, it's not realistic for everybody to sell their home in those months.
Right.
There's definitely things you can do to make your curb appeal better in winter when there's a coat of snow on the ground, things like that. I don't like to limit the kids playing in the yard. Maybe have them play in the backyard, so the front yard has got that nice clean
coat of snow. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously what Vince mentioned. I too this weekend had some showings. There's a couple driveways that I'm having to plow through to try and even get to, which was like really like trying to sell the home or keep us from entering.
Yeah, right.
Other than that, lighting is huge. I always tell people, especially before showing, like and just preparing for the showings, bring in some extra lamps. Make sure every room's easily turned on and lit well. Speaking of turning on, I always tell my sellers, especially if you got a string of showings or whether you got one showing, if you're coming back, obviously you don't want lights on for hours and hours, but go ahead and turn the lights on.
Yeah.
Because not all the times, I like, if I have one showing, or at least my first showing with the buyers for the day, I try to get to that first house before them, a good, 10, 15 minutes, go ahead and get all the lights on. That's not always possible, especially once you're doing multiples, because then they're basically following you in the car and you don't get that chance. So as a seller, I always say it's good if you can get some lights on, especially rooms that need the light because they may not have that natural light.
Yeah, open shades, right?
Yeah.
Natural light in.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, we're coming up to daylight savings time, so we're gonna set clocks forward.
And what is that? You know?
I think it's not this weekend, next weekend.
Okay.
So it's, it's gonna stay light a little longer, which is great. But if you're still showing prior to that, it's still getting dark about 5:30-ish, maybe.
Yeah, right down 5. Yeah, I was gonna say that 5:30 and then
So that means if someone's showing your house after 6 o'clock, it's dark. Make sure those lights are on.
absolutely.
So yeah. And now once the home is staged
Mhm.
and looking great, the next crucial step is that pricing.
Yep.
Okay. And pricing it correctly. Now this can be the tricky part of the process. So what advice would you give to sellers when it comes to pricing their home?
The biggest mistake is typically too high. That's a very common mistake. That means that tends to lead to your home to be on the market for weeks or even months. Once it's on for months, especially, and I get these questions from buyers. Oh, they automatically see if it's been on for too long. Is the price too high? What's wrong? You can bring in those questions. What's wrong with the house? So you got to be careful in pricing too high. Now, you might miss, an agent's miss. I'm gonna be first to admit. Sometimes I'm like, well, all my comparisons, the neighborhood, I think this is the number, but I always have that conversation. The market will dictate it, and we have to be willing to adjust quickly.
Right.
If we hit it too high, we'll know. We'll know within typically the first week between the online views, showings. Just be ready to make that adjustment.
Yeah. So the key is to be strategic about it.
Absolutely.
We always recommend doing a detailed market analysis to understand the value of similar homes in the area.
Mhm.
This helps us set a competitive price that'll attract buyers
Mhm.
while still ensuring that you get topped out. Okay. And you also have to be flexible. Like you said, like if we miss that mark, you have to understand that the market's going to dictate it. Buyer's going to dictate it. You have to be ready, to make a move to get that great offer. And it might be even considering, dropping the price a little bit or holding out for a better one.
Yeah.
So you don't have to jump on your first, the first offer that comes across the table.
And I'll tell you right now, it's kind of funny. Pay attention to your first offer. If you're listed a little higher than you think you might be, or evidence has shown that, and all of a sudden you get an offer and it's whatever, it's 5% off, or 10% off, or dollar wise, if you're $10,000 or $20,000 off, pay attention to that offer. I've seen it kind of backfire on agents, and as an agent, I always tell them there's a risk. You could get better, but definitely kind of be careful as far as watch out for that first offer. It's usually it's funny how often they was saying your first offer is often your best.
Right.
I've seen it come true a lot. So pay attention to it before you just kind of poo-poo it.
Yeah.
Because you think the house is worth more. It might be the market speaking to you. Don't be afraid to ask your agent if they don't already. Like, I'll ask other agents. We ask our team, there's 10 of us, if we're not getting the traffic, I'll ask my team, like, what do you think? Do I have this too high? We get each other's input for sure. So other than that, another thing I think it's super, super important is do pay attention to market trends as well. If it's a seller's market and you think you have some flexibility, again, maybe you could try that a little higher, but if it's a buyer's market, be prepared to maybe go the other direction and think maybe I'll price it where I think it's a little under market, and you could get a positive and drive your price back up through multiple offers. So those are just different things to take a look at.
Exactly. Once we have it priced right, marketing is key. Okay. Marketing is key. Getting your listing in front of as many potential buyers as possible is a must. And so in today's world, this means professional photography, virtual tours, a floor plan. Floor plans are becoming more and more popular. People want to see them. And if you're up against another listing in your neighborhood and that listing has a floor plan, and yours doesn't, and that listing has professional photography, and yours doesn't, that one's going to more than likely draw more traction. So, get the professionals to come in and do what they do best. We help you with the negotiated part, the getting you out there, but the professional photography is huge.
I can't agree more. I mean, I tell my clients all the time, we have a pretty good camera actually in our office. I still hire a professional. It doesn't mean I know angles. and how to, present photos and
Maximum lighting,
show maximum lighting, all those types of things.
maximize room size. Yeah.
Highly recommend, we leave it to the professionals on that. We think they do the best job possible. And I know I couldn't do a good job now. I get it. If it was a hobby of mine, maybe I'd think differently, but
Yeah.
photography is not a hobby of mine, probably the worst photographer in the world. So that's definitely a thing to do there. And then also, make sure like your media and how you're presenting it online. The online stuff is just,
Yeah.
you have to have a strong online presence. We always say your first showings are online.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
That's 100%. I couldn't agree more. And the way a home is presented online can really make or break that sale. I mean, we had a team member send us a photo this morning. Okay, it's a great example.
Oh my gosh.
Sent us a $800,000 listing in Lake Geneva. I won't throw the address out there, but you guys can probably find it yourselves. Where the agent, or maybe the agent was given the photos, but there is somebody taking a picture of a bathroom in a tie-dye shirt because they are trying to take. And if you just look close enough, you can see them in the mirror, and it's like, really? Do we really need to see this guy in a tie-dye shirt in the mirror? Yeah. But you have to you have to click on the picture and be like, the heck's that in the mirror? And yeah, so, and you can tell they're taking it with their cell phone. It's a little, the cell phone's turned. I can't remember if they're holding it sideways or if they're holding it like this. But yeah, it's essential that prepare, even after all the preparation, marketing, and pricing, we can't forget one more critical piece: timing.
Oh yeah, timing is probably everything.
What do you think I was gonna say?
I wasn't sure. I thought there's a couple directions I thought you might go there, but timing is actually, it is everything. Whether it's the season for market trends, whether you keep an eye on the best time to list your home. If you list your home during the time when there's more demand and less competition, you're more likely to get the price you actually want fast, because in the winter, like right now in the winter, it's still winter time. I mean, technically Super Bowl Sunday kicks off what we call spring market. And so you're starting to see more homes listed, but there's still not as many buyers out there. So your buyers are gonna be super serious. They're gonna know value. And I think you stand a chance, maybe you can get a better offer.
Yeah.
And less competition if you're on the buyer side of it too.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. So we've covered a lot today, from staging to pricing to marketing to timing of the sale, right?
Yeah.
Sellers who follow these steps are setting themselves up for success. Now, let's talk about the other part of this, the critical part of the process. Once the offers start rolling in, negotiating the best deal possible.
Absolutely.
So what should sellers keep in mind when they're reviewing those offers and negotiating?
Awesome question. I get this question a lot, and it's one I actually try to answer before they ask, is how we're going to handle the negotiation phase. It's honestly, it's all about strategy. First, you need to consider the full picture, not just the price.
Right.
While getting top dollar is definitely important, there are other terms to consider, such as, what type of contingencies are there, the buyer's financing, are they cash, the close date, because as a seller, once you decide to sell your home, every day then you hold it, it's now holding costs. So now it's not just costing you money to hold it. Obviously, the timing for you and where you're going to go has to make sense as well, but you have to, those are all different things to consider. I'll even throw another one out there that we did in an offer this weekend for one of my buyers that I think the seller actually appreciated. Normally property taxes are prorated from the beginning of the year, estimated property taxes, to the date of closing.
Right.
And then that's given to the buyer as a credit at closing. I talked to my buyers, I'm like, you know what? Taxes were reasonable. I said, it's not going to increase. It's about $1,000 out of your pocket, but nothing you have to do right now. Why don't you pay for the whole year's taxes? And they love that. They're like, that's a great strategy.
Yeah. Use
So
that before.
as a seller, I always make sure that, as your listing agent, when we start getting those offers, I'm paying attention to the little detail that there's dollars there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. A higher offer isn't always the best one. Sometimes it's a lower offer with fewer contingencies or a quicker closing timeline that's more attractive, right?
Yeah,
it's it's important to weigh all the factors. I'll give a great example is I had a buyer, or I'm working with a buyer. We were financing. We were $20,000 over their price, over the other offer, and they decided to go with the cash offer. And they had a cash offer for about 20 grand less than where we were at, but it was at their list price. They were okay with it. We were doing an appraisal gap. We really wanted it. They took cash offer. They called me this weekend and said, "Hey, our deal's falling apart. Are you guys interested?" And my buyers said, "No, fly kite, peace out."
Yeah.
So yeah, it worked out to where, it's not always, you got to consider all the offers and all the contingencies and everything that comes into play with that.
And did you find out, just out of curiosity, why the cash deal fell apart?
They were asking for an obscene amount in concessions for some stuff that was not worth the full concessions.
And I love our cash buyers. I work with cash buyers.
Good.
You can offer some cash buyers to stage it. My only caution when I'm talking to my sellers when we get a cash offer is, you gotta be careful because there's a stigma. Now, if I was paying cash too, like, you kind of want a deal type of stuff, or they're a little, sometimes if they give you the price, they're a little bit more stringent on some of those other contingencies. So,
Right.
not always. I mean, we try to operate in a fair way always, but I mean, that's why it's really important that you weigh all the positives and negatives of the entire offer.
Yeah.
Another thing, don't be afraid to counter. When you have to first accept an offer, you don't have to accept the first offer comes in. Especially, and I've had this happen both ways, my representation coming in my way. We get that first offer and it's actually your list price, but you have another offer coming in. Well, let the buyer know through their agent or whatever, and just say, well, we've got some other offers come in. We're gonna go and counter you, because if we can get a deal done with you, we'll do it.
Yeah. How do you feel about multiple counters?
I like them. Many people don't know that if you get two offers on your house, and then we're talking about the two offers, and we decide we're gonna counter them both, which is what Vince alluded to, is a multiple counter situation. You don't have to counter them in the same way.
Mhm.
If you didn't like, some type of thing on the inspection or whatever, if you didn't like this contingent on that one, we'll counter trying to make that agreeable to you as a seller.
Right.
If something is priced in them, counter their price. You don't have to counter the same things. Problem is, then you might create a situation where if they both accept their counters, you get final say.
You have
And
to
might
nod and decide.
You may have created some pretty equal offers there,
Yeah.
so then it's kind of like, oh, gee, which direction would I go? So we got to be careful about that, but
Yep.
you want to address in the multiple counters for each offer what makes it better for you, the seller. So I mean, it is something you need to do.
Yeah. Negotiation's a dance, and it's
Absolutely.
important to stay calm and patient throughout this and keep the emotion out of it. A lot of sellers make that mistake and rush into a decision, right? They don't sleep on it. And so it's vital to take your time and think through each of these offers, counter offers, and respond carefully so that you're not put in a sticky situation.
Yeah.
And, that's where we as experienced agents help, guide you through this process.
Yep. Absolutely. Definitely. And our team is here to advise our sellers on that best course of action, helping them navigate through tough negotiations. We definitely know the ins and outs of all real estate contracts, and we definitely like to guide our sellers towards making informed decisions that will ultimately get them the best deal.
Yeah. So to wrap up, preparing your home, pricing it correctly, marketing it effectively, right? And timing it all right, all the steps getting your home sold quickly at a great price. But once you're in negotiations, it's crucial to evaluate the terms, not just the price. And don't forget, patience and strategy can make all the difference when it comes to sealing a deal on your home.
Absolutely. Yeah. Couldn't have said it better, Vince. Selling your home is definitely, it's a big deal.
Right.
Like I said, when you're buying a home and selling your home, it's, for most people, it is their biggest financial investment. So it's definitely want to take the right approach, excuse me. And we definitely have a team behind you to make that process smooth and successful. And, just ultimately try and get what's best for you at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. So, don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions, concerns, thinking about selling or buying or whatever it might be, real estate related. We're here to help.
Our consultations, whether you're looking to buy, sell, both, we don't care. You could be planning 3 years out. We would love to meet with you and start that consultation process, start that planning process. We do consult, but the big thing we do is we help you plan.
Yeah, we help build that roadmap.
We help build that roadmap, hence the name of our podcast. Now we figured out what the seller's roadmap is.
So we help you build that roadmap to achieve, the success of your home sale. So yeah, thanks for joining us today. I'm Vince Duvall with Eagle Homes, powered by Caldwell Banker.
I'm Brad Brewer. See you guys next week.
Have a great week, everyone. Bye.